All right, I'm here with head men's and women's golf coach Al Sandifer. Coach, hello, thank you for coming out. Just a quick question. Can you just start with preview of the season? What can we expect from the team? What are you looking at? I don't know if you guys have started practicing yet, how the team looks, if you've seen them, if they haven't, and then when do they show up, and when do you guys start practicing?
We have started practice. We were in our first week of qualifiers last week. We moved in Saturday and then had a huge golf outing on Sunday. We had our first practice round on Monday and then had our qualifiers Tuesday through Friday. So we do have our lineup set for our first tournaments for both the men and the women. The women open up at Indiana Wesleyan on August 30th and 31st, and the men at the Olivet Invitational also on the 30th and 31st. So we do have our lineup set for those, and we will be the lineup based on the qualifiers that we had last week, so we're ready to go.
All right, I know we've had quite a few returners from the teams last year on both sides. I know, so there was a couple women's athletes that did pretty well in the spring. There were some men that did pretty well in the spring. You talk about the returners, how they look, and then maybe some newcomers that we should be looking out for.
Okay, like I said earlier, you start any team regardless of the sport with their seniors, and I think we're very lucky to have great groups of seniors on both sides, the men and the women. I have 3 seniors on the men's team, 3 seniors on the women's team, so those are the ones that we're going to rely on the most. The seniors on the men's team, Aaron Bitts, James Kinzer, and Jimmy Monteith, all have 4 years of experience. They had the opportunity to play right away as freshmen, and now we're hoping that the experience that they've gained over the last 4 years is going to be beneficial for us in building our team. 2 of the players from and all 3 of those seniors have made the lineup for our first tournament. Our other 2 members of the lineup are Colin Duffy and Drew Whelan. And for those of you that aren't as familiar with golf, in a golf tournament you play 5 and count 4. So of the 12 guys that I have on the roster for the men's team, those will be the 5 playing in the first tournament. And I have some other really good freshmen, Davis Longyear, Brock Williams, are all going to be people that are pushing for the lineup as the season goes along. Andrew Westfall will also be looking for a spot in the lineup. And really, all 12 guys at some point. Golf is such a game of ups and downs, and who's playing well at certain times. So our lineup is subject to change just about every week. On the women's side, the 3 seniors are Emily Witzak, Gabby Anderson, and Maddie Reed. 2 of those 3 have made the lineup for our first event, along with Jacqueline Fanola as one of our returning players. So when you talk about the top returners on our women's team, Maddie and Gabby and Jacqueline, and then of course Dakota Spears, who was a first-team all-conference player as a freshman. So we've got really good depth at the I shouldn't say depth. We're real good at the top. If our depth comes through and we can get a 4 score out of our number 4 and 5, our women should be very competitive in the league, as should our men. But there again, the thing with the men is we just got to develop more consistency than we've had in the past. We've always been able to get a good score or 2, and then it seems like the next day we get a good score or 2 from somebody different. So the consistency with the men is really going to be a key, top to bottom, and then getting that 4th and 5th score is going to be a real key on the women's side.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned in the being competitive in the league. I know we have a pretty tough league that we're in, with Uno, Northwestern Ohio being a really good team. We have a couple really solid teams. You said compete. So your expectations kind of just, I know we want to win the conference, but we have a really tough league. So going in this year, you're just hoping to maybe see improvement from what we did last year. I know that we kind of started out, like you said, I'm in the conference tournament for I think both teams. We started out pretty good the first round and then just kind of slipped and let it get away and dropped a couple spots. So is maybe your key this year is just like, let's see if we can stay consistent and maybe stay in that 3rd spot or 4th spot wherever we finish in the 4th round or the first round of that tournament, and maybe even get higher.
Well, on the women's side, preseason, we were picked 3rd, and I think that's a good number for us. Northwest Ohio does have an outstanding team. Again, this is on the women's side. Indiana Tech, an outstanding team on the women's side. So we're hoping that we can close that gap, and I do think this year is the year that we can do it. We're very good 1 through 3. We've had some good scores, 4 and 5. I had a freshman shoot 80 in one of the qualifiers, and she doubled 9 and she tripled 18. So she could have been in the 70s, which if we can get somebody to go along with Maddie and Dakota and Jacqueline, we're going to be really solid. I think 3rd is a good number for us, and I think that we are going to close the gap, and I think we're going to put a little scare in Northwest Ohio and Indiana Tech. On the men's side, we were picked 7th. Our guys weren't happy about that, and we think we can do better. But there again, we're going to have some consistency from our seniors, and we're going to have some good play from some juniors and some sophomores. Like I said, I've got some freshmen there in the lineup, but we return a good, solid group, a group that has a lot of experience. And I think one of the things that we talked about in our preseason when we saw that we were soft on the men's side is, we can talk about it, but let's prove them wrong. Let's prove them wrong. Let's see, make sure they know that we're better than maybe a 7th place team. And again, it comes back to the consistency thing. And if we can get consistent, and we can get consistent 1 through 5 with the men, there isn't any reason that we can't do better than a 7th place finish. And I would be surprised if we don't do better than a 7th place finish.
So you mentioned the guys weren't happy about being placed 7th. You think hopefully that gives them a little chip on their shoulder, makes them work a little bit harder, gives them that little push that they need to get that consistency you're shooting for. That's all I got for you, Coach. Thank you for stopping by, and we look forward to seeing you guys this fall and spring.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.